It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
President Trump is visiting the border today. This, of course, on the heels after his first national address to the nation from the Oval Office. A lot of stuff, a lot of new developments have taken place. Let's go now to the national director of the Remembrance Project. We have Maria Espinoza back with us. Maria, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paul. Thanks so much for having me on again.
Absolutely. So what is your take on this situation? A lot of people thought President Trump was going to declare a national emergency 2 days ago. He did not. He clearly laid out the case for the crisis at the border, the drugs, the violence, the sex trafficking. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer seem to be more, I guess, attacking the president. He's going down to the border today. What's your reaction to the news of the last couple of days, Maria?
You're right. There has been so much going on here, and we are trying to keep up. But I think that what it shows is that President Trump, through his addressing the nation the other night, that he is giving the Democrats another opportunity to show the American people that they actually care about them. And because I believe without any type of security, and of course the Democrats say, yes, they're for border security. Well, as you know, Obama claimed we had border security. All the while, there were agents through the Border Patrol Union who were testifying in Texas when I was testifying several years back, stating that they were ordered by the administration to stand down and allow a group of illegal aliens that contained 6 or fewer to pass into our country, Paul. And as far as drugs, 40 pounds or less of drugs. So that's the type of border security they're talking about. They want to be able to unplug that technology and once again direct the agents to stand down and keep the border open. That's their type of border security, which is no security. President Donald Trump is trying to give the American people what we were promised under the Reagan administration, a wall, a barrier system that is funded and actually allocated, Paul. And that's the difference there. It has to be allocated so the president can do the job of building that wall and securing this nation.
Well, I think I thought one of his best lines the other night was when he talked about people have walls around their homes not because they hate the people on the outside, but because they love the people on the inside. I thought that was very a great statement. What did you think about it?
Absolutely, I loved it, and I think everyone can actually. Anyone who uses a door, a lock, a wall in their homes and cars, their property. I think everyone can relate to that, and that's to us. It's very much a common sense, and frankly, a no-brainer, so to speak. That yes, he was excellent in that, and I love that he, brought up the families, those most affected, and he said he held the hand of weeping mothers and held the hand of grieving fathers and other family members, because he knows the people that we work with through the Remembrance Project. He reached out back in 2015 and has stayed strong with us and knows that the most egregious of all of this impacts of illegal immigration is a loss of life. But we're also talking about drugs and related deaths as well, because 90% of these drugs come from south of the border.
The president had some statistics. Of course, the media they were fact checking his statistics. They were trying to claim he was wrong. Of course, he was not wrong. One of his statistics was just a little underestimated when he said that 1 in 3 women that are trying to, come up from this trek and cross the border are raped or sexually assaulted. CBS News fact checks this, and they say the president's wrong. It's actually 80 or 90%. And then they delete their tweet. Then they delete the tweet because they realize, oh, whoa, wait a second, this is making his argument for him. He understated his case about how dangerous. And there was a moment, when he was talking about how women and children are the ones who are most affected, the migrants who are attempting to come, they're the ones that are hardest hit by this.
Yes.
And his voice kind of cracked a little bit after he said
Yeah.
children. And I think he really knows that the sex trafficking that's going on down there is the most underreported story in this entire discussion.
Agreed. It's horrible. And, this president cares about all human beings. Right now his job as our commander-in-chief is to secure the nation and protect American citizens. But he is a compassionate man. So, yes, of course, just like the rest of us, we do have compassion for the migrant who is trying to cross illegally, even though they place their children in harm's way and themselves. So that's why he's really pushing for, if anyone who wants to claim asylum, to do it within their country, go to the U.S. Embassy in their country. And that just makes so much sense. And remember, Paul, that these parents were placing their daughters on birth control and handing them over to the coyote to bring them here.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick. That's a parent, number one, that has not even thought about the safety of their child and trying to keep them safe as a parent. That's their duty. Instead, they're handing them over, knowing that their daughters are going to get raped. That's just terrible. I can't fathom that.
Mm-hmm.
That I would put my child in that situation. I mean, you protect your children from that situation. And trekking across this desert, and those two children who had passed away. But our job here at the Remembrance Project is to focus on that. But we understand that a wall will greatly detour these people from attempting to come across, because they know it will just be futile and it will be a waste of money, and they're just not going to try. And that's what we should be aiming for, to stop those magnets, and even on the other side.
We're talking again with Maria Espinoza, the National Director of the Remembrance Project. You can find out more at theremembranceproject.org. They are a voice for the victims who are killed by illegal immigrants. Did you watch Late Night with Seth Meyers, Maria, by any chance?
No, I did not.
Well, he decided to make fun of those who are killed by illegal immigrants. Did you hear about that? He's taken a lot of heat for it, and he basically made some sort of, like Law and Order reference about how is this a Special Victims Unit, SVU, and it was very offensive, and he's firmly on the left, and it's like, why, where's the compassion? It's like they don't want to admit that this is a problem. Illegal immigrants murdering Americans, this is a problem that shouldn't exist.
Right, they don't want to admit that this is a problem, and they don't want to meet with us. They will not, Pelosi or Schumer, they will not sit in a room and meet with our angel moms and dads and families. They've never done that. They've not accepted our invitation. When Donald Trump, the candidate, spoke at our first ever national conference for the Remembrance Project, we extended an invitation to Hillary Clinton, and of course she did not accept that. She was too busy, apparently. But Donald Trump came and visited for about 40 or 45 of our Still Alive families, and spent about 40, 45 minutes or more with them before going on stage and speaking. So the Democrats don't even want to have that conversation. I mean, they won't even at least rebut. How can you argue, however, Paul, that Americans are being killed and we have the evidence? Unlike, Schumer's comment after President Trump addressed the nation the other night, saying that the real human collateral damage from the shutdown were the paychecks that they wouldn't be getting as federal employees.
Mm-hmm.
This is outrageous, and we received a few calls. They didn't identify themselves as Democrats. However, speaking with them, it was evident they were not for the wall. However, they kind of were thinking about it because they were so offended by Senator Schumer's comments of the real human collateral damage was this, and a manufactured crisis. So they wanted to make sure that we knew that they did not align with his words and did not agree with him.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because I thought, I haven't really seen anybody take this head on. But when you look at what is happening at the border, you look at the fentanyl, you look at the drugs, you look at the sex trafficking, you look at the violence, you look at the lack of sovereignty, the laws being violated. I know right now that there are federal workers who are vastly and maybe thinking, I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. Maybe if they live paycheck to paycheck, I'm sure they're wondering about their mortgage. They're wondering about their rent. But so far, they're still alive.
Yes.
They're not on the southern border. It's not even close to an equivalency.
Right. Absolutely. And they have friends and family, and they can pull resources, too. But the Democrats are trying to make this as if this is a crisis, which is the government workers and the government being shut down and not receiving a paycheck. And that is a situation, but I think that we can get through that. But what about the families, Paul, where a single mother, and we have memorialized several single mothers, when they're killed, what about their children? Mm-hmm. There is no paycheck in that sense. Mm-hmm. So, there is no comparison, but yet I think they're digging themselves in a deeper hole, the Democrats, by trying to make these false statements. And I just wonder, when will people, the majority of the Democratic base, stop listening to their lies?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, and think about it. I just heard that some of the networks were thinking not to televise President Trump's address to the nation the other night. And there will come a day, I believe, Paul, that we're just going to be shut down, where these media networks are so in the tank with the far left socialists that seems to be driving the Democratic Party now. Communists, whatever they are, and it's not good. I think there'll come a day that they're going to be just shutting down conservatives like the two of us. I mean, they're doing their best to attack the Remembrance Project, but we're standing strong for as long as we can. And I think that thank God that we were here and just wanted to do something right back in 2009. So we've been at this since 2009, just because of the sanctuary cities in Houston. My husband and I watched the TV report and learned that there are Houston police officers that were killed by people who shouldn't be here. And there was a lawsuit, and investigating that, it brought us to create the Remembrance Project over sanctuary city policies. And here we are.
Yeah. Real quick, the president is going down to the border today. What are you hearing about that? And do you think he will declare a national emergency after what happened yesterday with negotiations breaking down, and after he comes back from the border? I mean, he'll be able to see everything firsthand.
Right. I'm not in President Trump's head. However, I think that he was signaling by going to the border today. I think that he is signaling that he is would possibly call a national emergency, because he's obviously given the Democrats. And look, Paul, this started a couple years ago. He offered last year in 2018, the State of the Union offered them the DACA recipients and amnesty, and the Democrats turned that down. So they're not, everything that President Trump is for, the Democrats are going to be against. So as Commander-in-Chief, he has a duty to do all he has in his power to protect this nation and its citizens.
Yeah. Maria Espinoza, National Director of the Remembrance Project. You can find out more, folks, at theremembranceproject.org. Maria, thank you so much for coming on the program. God bless.
God bless you too, Paul, and Happy New Year.